Starr FM, a crowd solution to a stressful lifestyle.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Starr Midday News. And coming up on the Starr Midday News today, Administrator at the St. Gregory Hospital, Matthias Agenere, blames the contractor's timing for setting of the dynamite as the main culprit for the disaster that has claimed the lives of 3 people at Budumburam.
But this particular one, the time and the magnitude, it was uncontrolled. At the time, 12 o'clock, when people are busily, moving about their business.
Meanwhile, the president of the Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, Dr. Ishmael Norman, says setting of a dynamite in a busy area like Budumburam is inappropriate.
It's not a proper thing to do to set up explosives in the middle of a busy settlement. Is that a terrorist attack or what?
Also coming up, NDC MPs vow to trigger necessary clauses to compel the change in status from minority to majority following a decision by some majority MPs to contest on a different ticket.
I am very certain that Parliament and Ghana will go through a major constitutional test. And that constitutional test is that the NDC minority must become the majority from Wednesday next week.
Also coming up on the bulletin, electorates have been encouraged to participate in the online voter exhibition exercise, which began this morning, despite the EC's refusal to grant both online and offline exhibition requests by the NDC. Also later on, the fate of 2 teenagers standing trial for the death of a 10-year-old boy, Ishmael Mensah Abdelat Kaswa, for an alleged money ritual is to be determined Monday, October 21st. We'll touch base with our man in court to bring you the very latest. We've got details of all of these stories and more making the bulletin on the Starr Midday News. Do stay tuned.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in depth, in touch.
Thank you once again for joining us here on Starr 103.5 FM, the Starr Midday News. Now, the administrator of the St. Gregory Hospital, Matthias Agenere, has blamed the contractor's timing for setting dynamites as the main culprit of the fatal disaster that claimed the lives of 3 people at Budumburam. According to him, explosions are not new in the area, and the only difference is that the explosion was not controlled.
I've seen a couple of explosions being done, controlled ones, mostly in the night. But I see that couple of times the police will block the road, and then later around 7, 8 in the night they'll do it. But this particular one, the time and the magnitude, it was uncontrolled. At the time, 12 o'clock, when people are busily, moving about their business. So I think it was the magnitude. The explosion was too huge that because people were far away in their houses. Somebody sleeping in his house, his stone went and cracked the head through the roof. So you can imagine the magnitude of it. It was just something that, we can't say now unless we just getting started. I don't know. So that's the state of affairs.
And at the moment, so what is significantly different with this particular explosion was that the magnitude was bigger or higher, and it was done at a time where it was a busy environment at that time.
Yes, it's period of the day, 12:30 thereabout. People are moving about their normal business, and even from the police accounts, when they told them that they should block so that they would do that explosion, less than 30 minutes time, they didn't even inform the police before they realized the explosion had taken place. So people might have not even, if you have given warning, people might have not evacuated. So
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. I'm not there. I'm only saying what
The police did tell you.
Yeah.
Now, some residents who spoke to Star News lamented the lack of communication by the police after the incident occurred. They are demanding compensation for the loss of their property.
Yesterday around 2 getting to 3, no, there is some blasting which happened yesterday that causes so many lives and property. So many people are injured. But they did a mistake. At first, no, when they come to do the blasting, no, they announced us like the day before or that day, maybe some hours before. You see, so that everybody will be aware. So that those people living around the place that the blasting occurred will go far away. But here in case yesterday nothing happened, we didn't hear any announcement. They just do their thing. I was in my house, so I hear boom instant.
I was even asleep.
I hear boom instant. So many people have even died. They have lost their lives. See this big stone here. This stone can't be false. The stone wasn't here. The stone wasn't here. This stone wasn't here. It's due to the blasting that occurred yesterday. This stone, see, all over here. See the car over there. They have caused so many lives. If you go to the hospital, people are even suffering. They don't have place to even take people to go. So people have been transferred to Kolobu and Winneba. Due to one blasting. Yeah. Oh, yesterday, so many police were around. But we didn't get anything from them. We didn't hear anything from them. Any good news? Yeah, they were just around directing traffic and stuff. But so far, nobody has consulted us. See, we have lost so many properties over here. Nobody has consulted us. See, you can even go there. See, almost millions or billions properties. It's so easy. It doesn't occur like this. Just a little one, boom, simple. Everybody's okay. But I don't know what they add to it yesterday. I don't know whether they added.
It was small, so we shouldn't go far because it was small. But not knowing that this is what was going to happen yesterday.
Yesterday, the lights went off. Light.
So let's go over to the phone line now and speak to my colleague Noreen Abbas, who is our reporter on the ground, and he'll give us more on this development. Noreen, welcome to the bulletin. You've been to the Budumburam area in the aftermath of this dynamite blast, which has claimed the lives of 3 people and injured many others. What can you report?
Yeah, good afternoon. So this morning when we got here, there's relatively calm and there's no tension here. You understand that the chief of the community has engaged the youth because the youth wanted to attack the constructors because according to them, they were negligent. They should have informed them ahead, but they didn't inform them. For this reason, they wanted to attack the constructors. But the chief of the community assured them not to take the law into their own hands. But we also understand that late yesterday evening and early this morning before you even got here, some authorities came here and assured the people that every damage that has been caused so far is going to be compensated for. Right now, we don't know the number of people who are dead. We understand that there are more than 3. Yesterday we heard there were 3, but this morning we understand that more than 3 people have died. One of them is a linguist in the chief's palace. And more than 40 people have died from what was reported yesterday. The real destruction is a few hundred meters from where the explosion happened, which is behind the shops by the roadside. I'm currently in the shop of one of the shop owners who owns the pharmacy to ask him briefly what the extent of damage in his shop. Good afternoon, sir. You are live on Starr FM.
Thank you very much.
So what is the extent of damage that you have had here so far?
Basically, the frontage, the entire glass work at the frontage is gone. Our signage is gone. And then part of our shelves is destroyed. Our computer, printers, and some other electrical gadgets that were stationed here were all destroyed. And the stones that were in the shop, actually, that's what we packed over there. We really had big stones in the shop, and it was scary. If you were here earlier and you saw the extent of destruction, you only but give thanks to God that we've gone through this safely. Now things are calm. We can laugh about things, but yesterday it was not so.
Did anybody in your shop get injured?
Fortunately for us, no. But they were right in the thick of things because right in front of us, that's where the explosion took place, and so they had to take shelter under the tables. Some hid themselves behind the counter where there were wooden shelves that could at least offer some protection. So the glassware were shattered. One was lying down, and just in front of her, the glassware over there were shattered. And we had some glasses behind also shattered. So it was a bit scary. It was scary actually. It was scary. It's just, we thank God that at the end of the day, we didn't suffer casualty like the rest of the citizens.
But were there any authorities here to assure you?
Yes. Immediately after the event, the police came here. They were the first authority to be here, and they advised that we come to the station to write our official report. And then this morning we went to them, and they came with us again to inspect the place and officially gave us the go-ahead to clean up the shop. So that's what we've been doing so far.
So, Lantam, you heard an account of what was given by a shop owner here. Currently, there's calm, there's no tension here, but the people here are still counting their losses and gathering the from what happened yesterday. Lantam.
Thank you very much, Noreen Abbas, for bringing us that update.
From Budumburam, Noreen Abbas is a man on the ground. Meanwhile, President of the Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies, Dr. Ishmael Norman, says setting off a dynamite in a busy area like Budumburam is inappropriate. He believes the act was intentional and suggests the contracted company should be jailed.
They didn't care about the people, because that is why I'm saying this is intentional. They didn't care about the people. Because, you see, once some of these road contractors give bribe to authorities that gave them the contract, they don't care about what they do. They don't care to what the people suffer. They don't water the road. It's full of dust. They do explosion. They divert road without warning. And this is as a result of the fact that as a nation we have lost our moral compass. To answer the question directly, it's not a proper thing to do to set up explosives in the middle of a busy settlement with a lot of people and property and cars and businesses. I mean, when you think about it, it is one of those activities that this is a person who has no soul, because you don't do that. A road contractor, allegedly with the expertise to do road construction in an urban center, doesn't know the consequences of this kind of tool to use in a road construction. It is totally inappropriate to use explosive in the middle of a human settlement. Is that a terrorist attack or what? This is a criminal act, and the people should be jailed immediately. Otherwise, they will fly. They will run away from the country. They should be arrested, and they should be jailed, and the company should be made to pay exceedingly huge amounts of fines.
He also recommended psychological counseling for the victims in the area.
The victims in the area, they need counseling, serious one. Because every time you hear, you suffer this kind of damage, the moment, even if when you're in a car and there's a backfire of a, say, throttle, boom, you immediately, you become very alarmed, and it changes your conduct. You can ask any soldier that has been in combat before. You hear this kind of blast, they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder forever. So they need counseling. And the buildings need to be structurally assessed to determine their structural integrity, and if there are supposed to be repairs and retrofitting or more pillars or whatever to sustain the buildings, it is important they do, because if they don't, a little tremor would collapse some of these buildings.
Now, minority MPs are expected to invoke Article 94G of the Constitution to compel 4 of their colleagues from the majority side to vacate their seats following their decision to contest in the 2024 parliamentary elections as independent candidates. Ahead of the motion to be put before the House, some members of the House have reacted. Bongo MP Edward Bauer of the National Democratic Congress insists the law must be adhered to.
Usually, the law is the law, and you must not at any point be at variance with it. And so what maybe the minority will be doing will be to test the Constitution, because the House there is governed not by the whims and caprices of individuals. It is governed by the Constitution of Ghana. and the standing orders. And at any point, a member of parliament can rise on his feet or her feet and draw Mr. Speaker's attention to the provisions and to draw and to indicate that maybe there is something that is not right and has to be ratified. And in this case is this. So you may ask, you say, oh, so, and what effect is it going to be? You people are not even going to sit for long. It doesn't matter. The law is the law.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency, Amido Isahaku Chinia, has questioned the minority's interpretation of the Constitution.
Honorable Chinia, let me bring you in. Will your side want to?
He doesn't want to grow old. I mean, this is so he has elected to Parliament today. We'll see what happens. But for me, my little appreciation of the law, or how I understand it, like the lawyer says, there's a spirit and letter in everything that you find in the Constitution.
Yeah.
There is an intention, and so sometimes you can interpret the Constitution by the words that you find, but
You've just listened to Amidu Isahaku Chinia, who is Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency. And we'll connect you to Parliament, where a man on the ground, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, will be bringing us an update as to exactly how all of this is playing out in Parliament. Ibrahim, welcome to the bulletin. What's happening in Parliament now?
Well, legal gymnastics, and of course, Parliament is supposed to be the place where laws are made, right? And then the interpretations of these laws are then left to the judiciary. And so, just as expected, if you followed the conversations for the past 1 month or so, especially on Starr FM and on GH1 TV, you might have realized that Dr. Papanko, the Member of Parliament for Crew East and former Power Minister, had indicated that today, when Parliament is expected to resume from the break for the very final meeting, the minority side will trigger the processes to occupy the majority side. And its reasons were simple. Former MP, Second Deputy Speaker, came to Parliament as an independent candidate, had decided to return to the NPP, so therefore, Article 97 of the Constitution, the seat will have to become vacant. Again, Cynthia Mamile Morrison, Member of Parliament for Abuna West, on the ticket of MPP, decided to come to Parliament, where contest as independent candidate. Same with Suhum. And then there's an NDC incumbent MP for Memphis Central, who has equally decided to go independent again, Joanna Jan Kujo. And so therefore, the NDC has put these seats together, 4 of them. And the argument is that they must all be declared vacant. When the House sat today, not really, let's just say today, before the House could sit, because the House has not yet started, Member of Parliament for Tamale South, who spoke at the campaign program and indicated that this was what the minority was going to do, had followed through and then petitioned the Speaker. So Ahmed Risu has filed the petition and sent to the Speaker, copied to the both sides of the House, minority leadership, majority leadership. And the content of this petition is a simple one. For Article 97, these 4 seats must be declared vacant. It's not just limited to the majority. One minority member who has also decided to go independent. The prayer from Ahmed Risu is that that seat must equally be declared vacant. Immediately after Alexander Kwamina Penyoma in the majority leader got hold of this petition, he also deployed his lawyers to go to the SS Court of the land, the Supreme Court, and file some process. In fact, 2 processes to be specific. One is a writ against Parliament, against the Speaker, and against the legislature as an institution. And the argument that these processes must never be automatic. And that if anybody decides to on the next Parliament on a different ticket, rather than the ticket that brought him or her to Parliament, it's not automatic that for Article 97, they lose their status as members of Parliament. That's one. 2, he, as majority leader, has not received any correspondence from the 3 individuals, or at least 2, Cynthia, that's Aguna Central, Aguna, and then went to whom that these individuals who belong to the NPP have forfeited their membership of the NPP by deciding to go independent for the 9th Parliament. And so once he's not been informed, he cannot see that he ceased to be his member. And so the Supreme Court must give interpretation after Article 97, especially given the fact that in the 7th Parliament, Professor Makupe, the Speaker, used the same article to declare the communal seat vacant when Andrea Siama decided to go independent. Not just that, it's also filed an injunction, of course, and I'm sure anybody who had followed this conversation from the beginning as we started will automatically know that there will not be a writ at the Supreme Court without an application for an injunction, right? So the writ that has been filed was accompanied by an injunction seeking to restrain Parliament, restrain Speaker from declaring DC vacant. And so, as we speak, what Alexander Pamela Benumak and the majority that is telling us the writ has been filed.
Right.
The injunction application has been filed. It doesn't expect Speaker to take the action whatsoever. So, ask him a question, finally, as to how anybody listening to us or watching us should not expect a chaotic Parliament, given how things have started. And he says they are rational human beings, they're supposed members of Parliament. He expects everybody to at least allow the rule of law to prevail.
Okay.
He didn't go to court when Okwe declared former seats vacant in the past. But he has gone to court today to bring a final issue to the matter. That's
all right. Thank you very much, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, for bringing us that update. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is our man in Parliament and head of our political desk here at the EIB network. Now, the opposition NDC has rejected the Electoral Commission's online exhibition of the voters register that begins today, Tuesday, October 15, to Saturday, October 19. The NDC says the online exhibition amounts to nothing if those in rural areas and without the internet cannot access it. The director of IT at the party, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, also noted the EC is yet to submit a copy of the new voters register, which is set to be exhibited. The EC came under scrutiny recently with several key political stakeholders raising concerns about the discrepancies in the provisional voter register and the potential risks posed by cyber attacks. Let's, however, check how the online exhibition is done. My colleague Nana Ama Akwa joins me in studio to help us understand exactly how one can check to see if their name is in the voters register online. Nanama, welcome to the bulletin. Take us through the process.
Thank you, Lantam. So it starts with a short code, and the short code is star 711 star 51 hash. That's star 711 star 51 hash. Then you dial the number there. Then you, once it goes through, the USSD code will be running. Once it runs, it will ask you for your 10-digit voter ID number. So I'll tap that in right there. Then once you've tapped in your voter's ID number, you hit send. Now, after that, it will give you a prompt to say that an SMS will be sent to you about your details. Now, I did this before. The first time I did it, it worked fluidly, and immediately I put the details in. My details came up. The second time, the same thing. The third time, it took a little while to come through. The fourth time, it didn't come through. Many people are on social media complaining that it's taken 2 hours. They still haven't received anything. My advice would be to continue trying. And if it doesn't work after some time, go to your polling station and ask them for assistance. And I think they should be able to help you. Lantam, that's what we have there.
Well, thank you very much, Nana Ama Akwa there,
You're welcome.
Taking us through the process for the online exhibition. Now, let's get onto the phone line and speak to my colleague, Prince Isian, who is currently at an IPAC meeting about the EC's plans moving forward with regard to the printing of ballot papers, the online exhibition of the voters register, among other issues. Prince, welcome to the bulletin. What's happening at the IPAC meeting?
The meeting is underway at Alita, where the secretary of the government address all political parties and assure that the re-exhibition of the register will address all discrepancies. Again, the concern raised by most of the political parties is that when you go to some of these communities, they do not have access to internet as well as service. So doing online and re-education will make it very difficult for rural areas to access these or go through the re-education. The chairperson for the DMA, Banking and Starr, just after the presentation by the Starr Commission for the first person to speak, and he said that they need to reconsider that people to do the re-education online. Again, it was supported by the CCC, and then it was supported by the GCCC. As we speak to you now, the presidential candidate of the APC, Hassan Ayarga, who is speaking now, who has also backed the same board, and the APC will consider that. Again, there was also concerns that the discussion is centered on the presentation, but the political parties are saying that they have other issues to discuss with the APC. If they limit their communication to the re-education exercise, they will not be able to address their concerns.
Right, very well. Thank you very much, Prince Etienne, there, bringing us the details from that IPAC meeting. It's time for sports, and the man is in the studio. Christian Kobe Kwashi is here with the details. Christian, what's in sports?
Right, Lantam. Black Stars head coach Otu Ado is optimistic about his team's chances ahead of their clash against Sudan this afternoon at 1 p.m. Otu Ado's side is yet to win a game after 3 games, drawing 2 and losing the other, which has left them in third position in Group F. Speaking ahead of the game, Otu Ado admitted his shortcomings in front of goal, but remained confident of the victory against Sudan.
Yeah, I was very satisfied with the training. I think the boys adapted well. They are willing to show what they can, and to make the last result out of their heads. And I think it's obvious that we need goals. We created a lot of chances against Angola. We deserved to win this game. We didn't play well against Niger. In the last game, I think we also deserve to win. Very, very unlucky. But there's a speech in German like alle guten Dinge sind 3. So I think English is 3 times lucky. So I think we had 2 good games with Angola and also a last game with Sudan at home.
However, Otu Ado further mentioned that the players will have to win this game to reward themselves.
I think we showed it in the last game. We don't have to look too much back. I think the last game was, in terms of passion and willingness to win, was there, but just the last thing was missing, and this is to score goals. And I think the boys are mentally ready, and this is the only thing which is missing. We have to score, and we have to score, and we have to believe in ourselves. This is very important, and with this belief, goals will come.
Meanwhile, former Ghana international Laye Kingston has provided insight on how the Blasters of Ghana can end their winless run in the AFCON qualifiers. The team held a pre-match training session as they aim to end their winless run after the 3 matches. Former Ghana international Laye Kingston explains how Ghana can attain victory against Sudan this afternoon.
I know we still have the players that can deliver, but the approaches to the game need to change. We need to approach our games very well. I think this game that they played in Ghana, the approach was very good. I was impressed of the approach. But then again, it comes down to how you can go out and take the game to your opponent and hurt your opponent. No matter what, and hurt your opponent. If you look at the last 10 minutes of the game, that's how we should be playing.
Well, that should be for sports. Back to you, Lantam.
Thank you very much, Christian, for bringing us the latest in sports. And before we go, the fate of 2 teenagers stand in trial for the death of a 10-year-old boy, Ishmael Mensah, at Kaswa for an alleged money ritual will now be determined by the jury on Monday, October 21, 2024.
Now, the date was fixed on Tuesday, October 15, after the case was called for the first time upon the resumption of the legal year. My colleague Mutala Inusa has been in court, and he will bring us the details. Mutala, thank you very much for joining us. What more can you tell us about this case? Hello, Mutala Inusa, if you can hear me. What more can you tell us about this case, about the Kaswa ritual murder? Okay, I can't seem to hear my colleague
Mutala Inusa on the line. He is our legal affairs correspondent, and on 3 previous occasions prior to this legal year, judgment was deferred after the jurors declared an indefinite strike of unpaid allowances. But these jurors have returned to work, and we're expecting that we're going to see finality brought to this particular matter. You'd remember that 2 teenagers allegedly killed a 10-year-old boy, Ishmael Mensah Abdullah, at Kaswa for alleged money rituals, and that trial has been ongoing for some time now. Murtala Inusa joins us on the phone. Murtala, what more can you tell us about this case and how it is progressing?
Well, at today, at German time, that this very case had to be deferred for judgment. Everything is done. Prosecution witnesses have testified. The accused persons have all testified. And then the court has fixed it for judgment to be delivered. And in fact, because of the Euro strike, that ended the previous legal year. And now, today is the first time that the case came up in this legal year. The judge said prosecution's addresses are ready, defense lawyers' addresses are ready, the court foundation is ready. But unfortunately, it has to be adjourned or deferred to next Monday for the determination or the fate of 2 teenagers to be decided. But the family has not been happy with that particular decision. It is the fourth time that the case has been adjourned. And as a family, they want justice done as early as possible.
Very well, Murtala Inusa, thank you very much for bringing us that update.
And that's it for the Star Midday News here on Star 103.5 FM. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Lantam Papanko. Have a good day.